Texas A&M has arrived. And I don't say this lightly either. I don't really like to anoint teams after 8 games. I think it's dangerous. I think it's reckless. And knowing what we've seen from A&M in the past, they haven't always been as good in November as they are in September, October. So it is a little dangerous, but this team's different, aren't they? They feel different. If you watch them, they're just different. I don't know how else to describe them. This team just plays really well together, and they have some aspects that are just full take over the game, guys. This game was a tale of 2 halves. I mean, mistakes early in this game. I mean, a lot, frankly. I mean, they had their C- performance in the first half of this football game, and then in the second half, it was A++. It was an absolute thing of beauty. But the first half, I'm not going to lie, it was kind of ugly. I mean, you throw a bad interception in the end zone on a stick nod where the safety runs right underneath it. Just, by the way, I've thrown a pick on that exact same play. It was just in Arkansas's end zone. So I'm not criticizing because I've done the exact same thing, Marcel. Don't worry. They had a punt blocked. They had an unsportsmanlike on a 3rd and 18 that gave LSU a 1st and 10. But in the second half, man, they flipped that thing on its head, didn't they? I mean, it started really in the second half with the kick return. And that is a play that no one else will talk about. No other show in the college football world will talk about that second half kickoff return to open things up that got them to the 44-yard line. I mean, that was a huge play in the game. Why? Because it creates an immediate momentum boost, an immediate surge into what you're doing on that side of the ball offensively. You go down, you get the touchdown, 56-yard touchdown drive. You force a quick drive by LSU. They punt it back to you, punt return to the house. In the blink of an eye, that thing was over, right? And they scored 35 of their 49 points there in the second half. That's their 4th straight road game with 40-plus points dating back to last season. That's the longest streak in school history. And it's tied for the longest streak in SEC history. But if you look at their starting field position in the second half, that tells a huge story. And usually starting field position is kind of an indicator of where the team is overall. Not so much offensively or defensively, but also special teams as well. It's an indicator of a well-rounded football team because everybody's doing their part when it comes to field position and starting field position and what you do with it when you actually get the ball. So in the second half, they started their first drive on the 44-yard line. They're 44, so near midfield. The second possession lasted about 14 seconds. That was a punt return to the house. The third possession, they started at the plus 50, meaning right at midfield. The fourth possession, they were at the plus 33-yard line. After a 4th down stop later in the game, they're at the plus 29-yard line. The field position in the second half was amazing, and that to me is an indicator of a very healthy performance in all 3 phases. This is probably one of my favorite offenses to watch. They just have so much explosive speed. Everyone on their offense that touches the football feels like they can break it open, maybe outside of the tight ends who aren't necessarily huge catch and run guys, but with Marcel Reed's dynamic nature at running the football when he needs to. Casey Concepcion's lightning in a bottle. Mario Craver, when every time he touches the football, looks like he's shot out of a cannon. Morrow at running back. Bussy, when he gets some action on. They just have so many guys that have such explosive speed and big play potential on every single snap. And Marcel Reed, he is super dynamic. Now, if you look at the first touchdown, look at the burst he showed. This is LSU now. They're playing against LSU. Say whatever you want about LSU's program, but LSU has always had tremendous athleticism defensively. Always. Well, right through it. I mean, right through it, outrunning defensive backs in the process. And I think quarterbacks are always going to be defined by how they play on 3rd down. And there were some great plays by Marcel Reed on 3rd down in this game. The throw to Bethel Roman, where Bethel Roman reached behind it, grabbed it with one. It was an amazing catch, but there was also a defender. That was a fairly tight window that Marcel Reed had to throw it into. Now, the interception in the end zone, not good, right? Not good. But at the end of the day, he made plays with his legs, with his arm, making accurate throws, making good decisions. He really played a really good football game. Honestly, if you could just remove that interception in the end zone, I think it was maybe his best performance of his career. or at least close to it for sure. And if you look at the numbers, you get 4 touchdowns, of course. Third Aggie player with 2 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns, and 100 rushing yards in the last 30 years. Trevor Knight did it. Johnny Manziel did it. So pretty good company to be in when looking at what Marcel Reed did in this performance. Off the charts. It was also, when you look at it with Casey Concepcion, what he has added to the return game, what he adds from a catch and run standpoint. Amazing. I mean, just a complete game breaker. And I think, I said this in the offseason, that's one of the biggest portal moves of the entire offseason. And I don't know how long it was going to take for him to become a guy. Man, I think everybody now knows what Casey Concepcion is with the ball in his hands. And then defensively, Cassius Howell was at times untouchable around the edge. I mean, just going right around tackles. I mean, just tackles couldn't even touch him. Couldn't even breathe on him. He was right around him. And if you look at it, 7 sacks. On all 7 sacks recorded by the Aggies, they had 4 or fewer pass rushers. So not a single sack was generated by way of blitz. Purely done with a standard 4-man rush, albeit sometimes a simulated rush where they add a linebacker on and drop somebody out. But still a 4-man rush, and they got 7 sacks. You know how hard that is to do? Well, just so you know, it was the last time that we've seen the Aggies do that was in 2014, and that was against SMU. And you don't need to go back and look at 2014 SMU, but they weren't LSU. Okay, I'll just tell you, if you look at the LSU's first 7 games of the season, they allowed just 7 sacks against 4 or fewer pass rushers. So very rare occurrence. Their first win in Baton Rouge since 94. They're 8-0 for the first time since 92. They're 5-0 in conference play for the second straight season. This is the first time that the Aggies are 5-0 in conference play in consecutive seasons since doing it 3 straight years from 91 to 93. So very impressed, continue to be remarkably impressed with Texas A&M to play that poorly early and to be that sloppy early and to flip the switch at halftime says a lot about their resolve. And for LSU on the other side, to allow nearly 50, that's the most they've allowed at home while ranked since 2008. Now they've dropped 3 of their last 4 after starting the season 4-0. I do think there's a glimmer of hope, though, with what we saw from Harlem Berry. I think he provides some much-needed juice at running back, so we'll see where his role goes from this point forward. So that was nice to see. But Garrett Nussmeier is simply just leaving too many plays on the field. This guy's a 5th-year senior. He's too accurate. He's too good. I know he's banged up. I know he's less than 100%, but there are some big misses in this game. And you can't miss throws when you're playing against a defense that's this good. So LSU back to the drawing board during the bye week. They got to get their quarterback healthy. They got to get him being more accurate. And they got to find a way to be a little better defensively because, my goodness, man, they allowed a lot of big plays in this game.